find all 11? Uncovered outlet, window blind cord, unsecured TV, fireplace, handbag contents, sharp edges, coins, balloon, unattended iron, leaning mirror, and laundry packs. Always keep laundry packs away from children. Keep them up, keep them closed, keep them safe. A message from Todd.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Coming at you as I love to do every weekday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over the airwaves of Sirius XM. Mad Dog Sports Radio, the number to call up as always is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. Got a jam-packed show coming your way. Lots of stuff to get into regarding the NFL draft, the winners and losers of the draft. Something to get into, no doubt. Of course, there's a whole bunch of stuff to get into involving boxing, not just because there's a big fight this weekend with Canelo Alvarez versus Amir Khan, but also because Floyd Money Mayweather supposedly is contemplating coming out of retirement for his 50th fight against an opponent yet to be named because he has yet to officially announce that he's coming out of retirement. We'll debate whether or not he should, and if so, who indeed should he fight? Who should be the number one guy on this list? Who should be the guy that will generate that 9-figure paycheck he's looking for, since he swears that's the only reason he would come out of retirement? We'll talk about that right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. But the first order of business to get into is the NBA playoffs. And contrary to popular belief, it's not going to be LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers going up against the Atlanta Hawks this evening. It's not going to even be so much about the Miami Heat and that 7-game thriller against the Charlotte Hornets, how they ultimately blitzed them, annihilated them yesterday afternoon near South Beach. No, the first topic of conversation is going to involve the San Antonio Spurs and the destruction they literally executed against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Ladies and gentlemen, to say that this was an embarrassment doesn't even begin to touch on what transpired. San Antonio Spurs' first basket of the game was a dunk by Kawhi Leonard with nobody in the lane to impede him. They ultimately ended up hitting 10 of their first 11 shots. In the first quarter, they scored 43 points. They were up by 23 after one quarter. They were up by 33 at the half, 73-40. And before you knew it, there was simply no words, no explanation whatsoever. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka, and the crew were literally and figuratively embarrassed, and emphatically so. There is no way around this. I mean, talk about a beatdown. It was so embarrassing, I almost felt sorry for him. And I got to tell you something right now. Everybody wants to focus on Oklahoma City's offense. Because after all, Kevin Durant only finished with 16 points. They were minus 31 with him on the floor. He shot 6 of 15 from the field. Russell Westbrook hit 5 of 19 from the field. Finished with 14 points, 9 assists. They were minus 30 with him on the court. Serge Ibaka looks like he had a decent game, 8 for 15 with 19 points. Who gives a damn? When it mattered most, he was nowhere to be found. I don't care what you accumulate during garbage time. Doesn't mean anything to me. But you can slice it any way you want. Offensively, the story was LaMarcus Aldridge hitting 18 of his 23 shots. Plus, I think his first three-pointer of the season finished with 38 points. Kawhi Leonard hit 10 of 13 shots. Finished with 25 points all told. They literally combined to shoot 28 of 36 from the field. And by the way, Danny Green hit 6 of his 7 shots. Plus, he hit 5 of 6 from three-point range. I mean, this was an annihilation, y'all. This was flat out embarrassing. And And there's no way around it. But I'm going to tell you what was most embarrassing about what I saw from the Oklahoma City Thunder this past Saturday evening. You know what that was? Their defense was nothing short of horrific. You can slice it any way you want to. It was nothing short of ridiculous. I don't know any other way to slice it. I don't know how to get around it. I don't know what to say about it. It doesn't matter. I mean, how many open jump shots could LaMarcus Aldridge get? What about Kawhi Leonard? How many different lanes to the basket? I'm talking about there was no switching on defense. Nobody was manning up on defense. As the Spurs moved the basketball, nobody was recovering or covering for the next man. They weren't getting back on defense to nullify fast breaks. Every possible thing you could do wrong as a basketball team, Oklahoma City did. Dare I say, the real culprit in all of this may have been Coach Billy Donovan, who I genuinely like and considers to be a fantastic coach, at least on the collegiate level where he won 2 national championships. And because on the pro, on the collegiate level, in a 7-game series, going up against Greg Popovich, I expected the Oklahoma City to be far more ready than they were. And there's just no way to rationalize it. You can slice it any way you want to. You can say whatever the hell it is you want to say. They got blitzed. And the reason why it's not as simple as saying, well, you know what? So what? San Antonio won 124 to 92. So what? They lost by 32 points. It's just one game. You know why you can't have that attitude in this series? Because too much is riding on it. Ladies and gentlemen, do y'all understand the magnitude of the beatdown that happened Saturday night? Yes, it is one game. Yes, I still think Oklahoma City's going to make it the series. I picked San Antonio to win this series in 7 games. But let me tell you something. You know why it's so pivotal, so important? You know why it matters so much? Because how you go down, not just whether or not you do fall down, how you go down may very well determine whether Kevin Durant elects to stay or go. Do you not get that? Do you not understand that? It may very well decide whether he stays or goes. Now let's break it down. Let's analyze this for what it's worth. We're talking about a guy in Kevin Durant that's a career 27 point per game scorer on 48% shooting from the field. We're talking about religiously, consistently, perpetually one of the top 3 players in the world. We're talking about a dude 6'10", 6'11", with a 7'6" wingspan who can pull up from 30. That's what we're talking about here. You look at Kevin Durant. And you got to say to yourself, if Oklahoma City goes down in embarrassing fashion, with Golden State and the Spurs potentially in the running to acquire his services in free agency this summer, do you really want to put all of that in jeopardy because you can't even be competitive against the Spurs? You really want to give Kevin Durant the impression that if he stays in Oklahoma City, he's going to keep looking up at Golden State and San Antonio for years and years to come? You really want to do that to this guy? I wouldn't if I wanted him to stay. Which, obviously, anybody with basketball sense will want Kevin Durant to stay because, again, he's one of the top 3 players in the world. Kevin Durant has been in this league since 2007. This is his 9th full season in the NBA. His career average is 27.7 points per game, 7 rebounds a game, 3.7 assists per game, shooting 48.3% from the field and 38% from 3-point range. This is his career. This brother is elite. And he's not happy. What are you going to do about it if you are the Oklahoma City Thunder? That's the question. You got to play better than this. Because let me tell you something right now. Everybody keeps talking about these teams. They're talking about New York because Carmelo's recruiting him. They're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers because it's Lala and Kevin Durant's got a home out there in LA now. And they keep talking about that. And obviously he's talking about the Washington Wizards because that's his home and they just hired Scotty Brooks. So because you hired Scotty Brooks, you're going to sit out there and you're going to say he's got a relationship with Kevin Durant that he cultivated with him for years of coaching him. So Scotty Brooks can be the guy that steps in. And when he steps in to coach him, guess what? It could all end up working out. Because if you look at Scotty Brooks, he knows him. They love each other. Blah, 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 blah. Of course, he could elect to stay in Oklahoma City. Doesn't even have to sign a long-term deal. He can pull a LeBron and sign a 2-year deal with an opt-out after 1 year that allows him to be a free agent next summer as opposed to this summer where both he and Russell Westbrook are free agents together and they go someplace as a package deal. All of that's possible. But if I'm Kevin Durant and I decide for any reason that I don't want to stay in Oklahoma City beyond this season, do y'all know what I would do? Do you know what I would do? If I'm Kevin Durant, I'd go to Miami. Did you see the Heat yesterday? Did you see them completely overwhelm Charlotte? Did you see Hassan Whiteside reject everything in his sight? Being the game's premier shot blocker that he is? Did you see Luau Deng contribute? Did you see Joe Johnson, silky smooth self? Did you see Goran Dragic actually show up and earn his money for a change? How about the rookies Justice Winslow and Josh Richardson? I don't know about y'all, but this kid Josh Richardson is special. I mean, the energy that he brings on the court, the way that they play basketball, the way that he defends, plus he can hit perimeter shots. I love me some Josh Richardson. I really do. And I got to tell you something right now. Could you imagine adding Durant to that crew? Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the Miami Heat have Dwayne Wade's bird rights. You can sign Durant and then bring Dwayne Wade back. Chris Bosh wants to play. He's being held out by the Miami Heat. Now, on one hand, you can take my argument that he should be thankful that the Miami Heat are not trying to jeopardize his health. On the other hand, you have those out there who are of the mindset, because according to the things that I'm hearing, Miami wants him to sit out. If he sits out, for insurance purposes, they're covered. And they're not triggering a luxury tax number, which is going to save Mickey Harrison money. My philosophy is simple. If Bosh were healthy, with the team as presently constructed, with Hassan Whiteside in the middle, having the ability to pull big men away from the basket because Bosh can hit 15 to 17 footers all night long, Miami would have a shot at beating Cleveland. That's how I look at it. So on top of all of that, that's right now. Could you imagine if they added Kevin Durant to that equation? Could you imagine how formidable that would be? Do you understand what we're talking about here? I'm telling you right now, you can slice it any way you want to. Kevin Durant comes to Miami. Unless Chris Paul joined LeBron in Cleveland, I can't see Miami not coming out of the Eastern Conference with Kevin Durant in that lineup. And by the way, it would be entirely different than him going to San Antonio or Golden State. Because you see, if you go to San Antonio, it's because they beat you in these playoffs and in years past. If you go to Golden State, you're going to a reigning champion. So you just along for the ride. You ain't the reason the ride is taking place. But if you went to Miami, It's similar to LeBron. Not quite as similar because Miami's in the playoffs and they're formidable, but it's still somewhat similar to LeBron. Because if you go to Miami, you're the reason that they get over the hump. It's all about you. You go to San Antonio or Golden State, you're just along for the ride. And who the hell wants to be just along for the ride when you got the talents of a Kevin Durant? That makes absolutely positively no sense whatsoever. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Kevin Durant ends up going to Golden State or San Antonio. It wouldn't even be fair. And I would literally look at him and say to myself, you know what? I'm not feeling this. I wouldn't even recognize him as a champion. Not if he went to one of those two places. Because they're already a finished product, essentially. But if he went to Miami, switched conferences, ended up in the East, going up against LeBron, that's an entirely different matter altogether. And I'd give Kevin Durant the edge there. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Going to have the coach, Herm Edwards, coming on with us to talk about the NFL draft. But now, before I get to your phone calls up next, you're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
I'm watching TV right now, CNN. Ted Cruz is out there in Indiana talking to Trump supporters, holding up Trump signs. Make America great again. Like they're going to listen to him. They're not. They're sold on Trump. It's just the way it is. And screaming at politicians, you know, they lie to us, blah, 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 blah. Man, some of the things we do in this country, boy, I tell you. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call. It's 888-623-3646. To the phones we go. Let's go to D-Rock in Brooklyn. You're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. Good afternoon, bro. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Hope your weekend was great, Stephen.
It was. I hope yours was well, too. Thank you.
All right. Definitely want to get into this Kevin Durant. I've been sorry, I had to run back to the car. I'm a little out of breath. I've been listening to Tim Grover on YouTube, Michael Jordan's famous trader.
I know him.
All right. He said something very interesting.
Okay.
Only and just are very dangerous words.
Say what?
You take those words, only and just.
Okay.
So like Kevin Durant said, it's only one game. You know, people say it's just a game. Like even if you say for yourself, if you have to say, oh, this is just a radio show. You know, you don't want this to be just a radio show. You want this to be you want this to be the show that people tune into.
I think it already is, but go ahead.
All right. But he also said people that use those words, only and just, that shows your preparation from a mental standpoint of how weak they are. And when I heard those words come out from Kevin Durant, that's exactly what I thought. I say this is going to be a 4-game series.
So you think Oklahoma City is going to get swept?
I think they're going to get swept. From what I saw, that was an absolute mess. My wife really watched it.
But that's happened before. A lot of teams have gotten blown out in the past. You know, I mean, it's not uncommon. Stuff like that happens. Great teams have a really, really bad night. I was more alarmed by what I saw from Oklahoma City defensively than offensively. Because I know that offensively it was an aberration. Defensively, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? That's what scared me.
Yeah, the pick and roll offense, I think Chris Level was talking about the pick and roll.
It was the worst. He said it was the worst he's seen all year. Listen, it was horrible. I watched it. Chris Webber, first of all, he did an outstanding job coloring the game. Secondly, and more importantly, he was absolutely right. It was disgraceful. Their defense was so bad, I don't know how to put it into words. It was awful. It really was.
Watch this, though. Just a couple of bullet points, and I'll come off the line and listen to what you guys say. I think they're going to regret not trading for Brook Lopez when they had the chance. I think Brook Lopez could have gave him a lot more than Steven Cantor.
Well, offensively, Brook Lopez don't play defense. He's just learning. Don't get me started with that.
His defense is definitely underrated.
Did you just say Brook Lopez's defense is underrated?
Yes, I did.
Make your point before I hang up on you.
All right. I think Frank Vogel, he's a great coach. Like you talked about Kevin Durant maybe going to Miami, I think that'd be very formidable. That might trump Cleveland. But from what I see with Frank Vogel and how he had these boys playing and seeing the development of Paul George, how he came back from that gruesome injury, I'd be very interested to see Kevin Durant entertain the possibility of going to the Pacers.
Well, why would you go to the Pacers instead of staying in Oklahoma City? If you're going to leave Oklahoma City, you definitely want to be in a market, a bigger market. You want to have some sizzle. Because why, as great as Paul George is, and I love me some Paul George, why would you choose playing with him over playing with Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City for another year?
It doesn't seem like they got the chemistry to match with the players that they're bringing in. Like,
I got you.
Bringing in new players.
You're entitled to your opinion. You're wrong. Have a nice day. That ain't going to happen. I'd be shocked. If any player could consider going to play in Indiana, it would be Kevin Durant. I get that, but I can't see him leaving Russell Westbrook to go and play with Paul George. I just don't see that. That doesn't make sense to me. Let's go to Ronnie in New Mexico. You're live with Stephen A. Armando. What's up, Ronnie?
Hey, Stephen A. How you doing, man?
Great. Talk to you.
My call.
No problem.
So, I mean, I've been looking at this thing and with Kevin Durant, and it kind of got 2 points. One's off the subject, but have you looked at or even considered the possibility of him staying in OKC and they make a blockbuster trade for Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, sending Russell Westbrook and Ibaka?
No, I have not considered that. From what I'm told, Kevin Durant will either stay in OKC or Kevin Durant will either stay in OKC or he'll go to a major market team, New York, LA, or Miami. Not Washington, his home. I have not heard anything about him staying there so they can sign somebody to a long-term deal. I do hear that he might sign a 2-year deal with a 1-year opt-out so he and Russell Westbrook can be free agents together next summer, but I do not know.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I just thought maybe, especially with the type of ball Chris Paul plays, I just feel like it's a better fit.
Well, Chris Paul's not coming to Oklahoma City. First of all, Doc Rivers is not going to change it with trade him within the conference. Secondly, if Chris Paul leaves to go and play in a smaller market with anybody, it's going to be for LeBron in Cleveland.
Well, that's interesting. But also, my other question is a little bit off the subject, but with everything that's going on with analysts and the sports analysts and even radio analysts being attacked by different people, you know, like how Barkley was attacked and how lady attacked a gentleman in Chicago. I'm just curious. I mean, I'm sorry, in New York. Have you ever been attacked in that way? How did you handle it?
I've never. What's your definition of attacked? Physically?
Not physically threatened.
Oh, no. But I've always been attacked verbally. I could care less. It comes with the territory. So you gotta understand something, all right, Ronnie? You do your homework. You tell the truth to the best of your ability as you see it. And that is that. And you try to be respectful as you possibly can without getting personal. That's our job. And if you can't stomach it, you're in the wrong business. You know, it's like, don't get me wrong, it's far different and far less significant than reporters going out there and reporting from war zones. But nevertheless, it's about accepting the responsibility that you signed on for and moving forward. I'm not going to get malicious. I'm not going to get personal. But at the same time, I'm going to do my job. And I'm not going to be scared of speaking what I believe to be true. That's my job.
And that's why I respect you, man. I mean, I stand up for you in my office all the time. People talk about how you really don't know what you're talking about.
Listen. Let me stop this right there. Ronnie, let me tell you something. First of all, I don't worry about the racist label. I got white folks calling me racist. I got black folks calling me a sellout and a coon. So that means I'm somewhere in the middle, which means I must be doing something right. That means I'm doing my job. I'm not taking sides because I'm getting it from both sides. And as it pertains to, my accomplishments, Ronnie, I hate to put this out there, but I'm going to put it out there once and for all. I'm a black man. And here I am, raised in the streets of Hollis, Queens, New York, got left back, ended up graduating with honors from an historically black college, an HBCU in Winston-Salem State University, worked at CNN, Fox, and ESPN, worked at the New York Daily News, and then the Philadelphia Inquirer, got promoted 9 times, elevated myself to a general sports columnist position. And at the time in 2003, Ronnie, when I was named a columnist, I was the 21st African American in the history of this country to receive the title of a general sports columnist, which means I had the license to editorialize and give my opinions. These people that want to sit there and talk to you, and people in the blogosphere that want to come at me in that regard, what they want to do is take sound bites that they dislike, disapprove of, or they have a problem with, and try to allow that to define me and define my career. But I ask you, Ronnie, if you did your homework, and it's not to impugn or disrespect any of my colleagues, because I respect all of them, and I respect the job that all of them do, even the haters. But how many people have my credentials? They can talk all they want to, but the reason why I say that, I'm not bragging. I'm just one of the few African Americans in this country whose credentials you cannot take away from. It's mine. I earned it. I've worked for it. Nobody gave me anything. I was living off of tuna fish and Kool-Aid in Archdale, North Carolina in the early 90s, making $15,000 a year, working for the Greensboro News and Record High Point Bureau, doing calendar items and school lunch menus and birth listings. And when I wrote as a sports writer, it was for free on my time from 7 to midnight. That's what I did. And in the meantime, I was loading and unloading truck scent about what they think. And anytime any of these people want to sit up there and put their credentials next to mine, tell me when and where, and I'll show up. Until then, Ronnie, tell them don't worry about me. I'm doing just fine, bro. I'm doing just fine.
You have a good one, man.
You do the same. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Sorry to bloviate about that for my own credentials, but on occasion, you got to remind folks of exactly who I am. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith for First Take, but it's also Stephen A. Smith for the Philadelphia Inquirer and the New York Daily News. It's also Stephen A. Smith from Fox Sports and CNNSI before that and ESPN after that. It's also Stephen A. Smith that started out my career making $15,000 a year. Long before I was making the money that I made now. I got a resume. I have a portfolio. I have credentials. Where's y'all at? Where are y'all credentials? Take your time, I'll wait. That's what I thought. Herm Edwards, the coach, up next with yours truly on Mad Dog. Mad Dog Sports Radio. Now, listen to this song. I like Return of the Mac. Yeah. You like that, Coach? Oh, love it. That's back in the day. There you go. Coach Herm Edwards with yours truly right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. I love that beat. It's so fly, so fly. It really is. Coach, always great to see you, buddy. It's been a few days removed from this NFL draft. Yes. Talk to me about the move that stood out in your mind.
Coming out of high school, I was under-recruited, if not recruited at all. I've always been one of those guys that if you work hard and you put in the effort, you'll give yourself a chance to be successful. As a kid, I used to have like a little football uniform, a little plastic helmet and stuff. I used to go outside and just play it by myself. So I've always watched these guys on TV and always wanted to be that one day. And now, I'm kind of getting an opportunity to. And I think about me playing in the front yard and how much I really wanted this, and that makes me keep pushing. A lot of those guys who are underdogs and they feel like they're being overlooked and this and that. As long as you keep working hard and you take care of your business, you're going to have your chance to shine. No matter how you pay, choose Visa. And don't forget to use Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. So buy my jersey on NFLShops.com.
Talk to me about the move that stood out in your mind as the one we should pay most attention to. Like the new, I'm not talking about Tunsil, right? We'll get to that, but I'm talking about from a purely football perspective. Talk to me about the move that everybody should keep their eyes on that made you say, oh, this could be special.
Well, obviously, when you make a move like Denver did to get a young quarterback, and I thought that should have taken place. I said that all along when they were sitting there at 31. I said, if this kid Paxton Lynch falls somewhere down in the vicinity where they feel like they can go up and get him, they will. It worked out perfectly for them. So when you think about a football team right now that is really set on one side of the ball to win football games defensively. They got Mark Sanchez there, and other people say, well, Mark Sanchez. Well, they're hoping that they can use Mark Sanchez like we saw his first 2 years when he went to the AFC Championship. Right. With a good running game, really great defense, and he can be the bridge for this young kid. Because Paxton Lynch has all the measurables. He's big. He reminds me a lot of Osweiler. He can move outside the pocket, can make throws, but he just has to learn how to play the quarterback position. So they have time, right? They have time to develop that. So that's one of those deals where a team that just won a Super Bowl might have found themselves another quarterback.
I got to ask you this because Paxton Lynch coming into the draft, we heard about Goff, we heard about Lynch, taken 1 and 2 respectively by LA and then Philadelphia, obviously. But after that, we weren't hearing too much. We heard Paxton Lynch's name. We heard Connor Cook's name. We heard Cody Kessler's name. We heard, all of these guys. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. And Cardell Jones, who got picked up by Buffalo. We heard all of these names, but we were hearing Paxton Lynch. He's got potential, but he's got to improve his upper body, lower body strength. Hackenberg, another guy that the Jets grabbed. We heard all of these names, but you didn't hear about anybody feeling the need, the urgency to move up and grab Paxton Lynch. And then afterwards, you hear Jerry Jones lamenting the fact that he didn't up the price to get him. Right? Denver came in and quote-unquote stole him. I'm like, where did this come from? How all of a sudden he become that valuable?
Well, because he's quarterback. And he has some talent that you can't coach. Strong arm, mobility, and he's just a raw talented guy. And these are the type of guys you look at and go, well, he's going to fall now. He's going to fall, but how far does he fall? And a lot of people said there were going to be 3 quarterbacks in the first round.
Yeah.
But you're right. He was one of those guys, like, at the bottom, 25th pick, somewhere right around there. And I think Denver knew that, you know what? Can't wait any longer. Let's go get this guy.
Herm Edwards right here with Stephen A. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Another quarterback I'm worried about is already in this league. His name is RG3. He's the head quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I watched the Cleveland Browns draft a bunch of wide receivers. I was listening to you on Mike and Mike this morning. I watched the Cleveland Browns also draft Cody Kessler. And then I got to listen to my man Skip talking about how Cody Kessler might be starting week 1. I'm like, which I don't believe is going to happen, by the way.
That's where Ron Rivers
And Skip says something wrong. Skip, you know something's wrong. Skip, come on now. The point that I'm trying to make to you is that either way you slice it, it doesn't appear to be the greatest vote of confidence for RG3. What's going on in Cleveland?
Well, I believe this. I believe Robert Rivers is a starting quarterback. I really do. And when you move out of that pick, I mean, they could have picked a quarterback. They didn't feel comfortable picking one there. We have Robert Griffin. Robert Griffin is starting quarterback. They didn't draft Cody Kessler to be the starting quarterback.
Okay.
So Robert Griffin is the guy, but you make a great point. The problem that I had with choosing 5 wide receivers, you still have to build your team within the division of who you play. This is an outdoor team. You have a quarterback in Robert Griffin that did not play last year. He is a quarterback that when you put him in the pocket, that's not his strength. You draft 5 wide receivers and you give him no help as far as who's going to run the ball for him. Duke Johnson is more of a pass catcher.
Exactly.
Okay? And so I'm sitting there going, well, why would you do this? Why would you put this all on Robert Griffin's plate? I mean, he was successful in Washington. He had a good runner back there. They were a play-action football team. Hugh Jackson's a marvelous coach. He's going to get this thing turned around, but all of a sudden you draft 5 wide receivers. You don't draft one, like Alex Collins. He drafted in the 7th round, the kid out of Arkansas. Big, powerful back. I mean, that fits the mold of your division. Cody Kessler, you put him in a situation where it's going to be very difficult for him to have success. Why? He doesn't have a strong arm. And he play outside.
That's right.
Unless Cleveland's built
That's a big deal with me. Exactly. They're not building a dome. He's playing outside. The weather gets really bad in November and December. But the antithesis of that is Christian Hackenberg. Because out of Penn State, the Jets grab him. He's playing outdoors. The weather ain't warm in November, December in New York. But this dude has a rifle for an arm. So it's a totally different thing. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, you're exactly right. Like Connor Cook's a guy who played outside. The elements have something to do with a lot of quarterbacks, especially the ones that were not the powerful arms. You made a good point. Christian Hackenberg has a powerful arm. I mean, he can fit tight windows. He's big. He's strong. Now, he's not accurate at times.
Yeah, because a lot of people are not hiring him, Coach, because of how he's looked at Southmore in junior year at Penn State. What's up with that?
Got hit a lot. And offense changed. When O'Brien had him, it was a different offense. Didn't even have the weapons around him. I had the kid in the Under Armour game, so I had him before he went to Penn State.
Got it.
And, he's smart. He's football. He has football savvy. He has FBI. Problem with him, he got hit so much, over 88 times in the last 2 years, that basically he plays with his face mask down. Can't play quarterback with face mask down. I mean, you're looking at the rush.
That's right.
So that can be cleaned up. He's got some potential. This is a big man. I mean, he's big, strong, powerful arm. I mean, New York. I mean, Eli, big man. Okay. I mean, Tom Brady, big man. Okay. I mean, this division, all of a sudden, you look at it, you play outdoors, man.
If you're the Jets, you grab Hackenberg. He may not be ready yet, but he might have to be because we can't rely on Geno. We can't rely on Bryce Petty. And then on top of it all, Ryan Fitzpatrick ain't out.
I would be shocked if Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't play for this team this year.
So would I, but doesn't that mean he's going to have to accept about $6 million less than what one could argue he's worth at this particular juncture, at least for one season?
Well, he might, but here again, I think they can do something in his contract or build it in the incentives and say, hey, if we get to the playoffs, if you win a playoff game, he wants to play for this team. This is a good football team. He knows he has a playoff team. I mean, you wouldn't want to end your career like leaving and going, man, I just left the playoff team when I can still play. So, we'll see.
Herm Edwards right here with Stephen A. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Dallas seemed to have a good draft, drafting Ezekiel Elliott, even though our very own Mel Kiper Jr. always said you don't take a running back in the first round, no matter what. I'm not.
Every moment is an opportunity. To shape your legacy. To define tomorrow. Because tomorrow is right now. What is it?
Said you don't take a running back in the first round, no matter what. I'm not sure that's right, but I'm not sure I would have taken Ezekiel Elliott with the 4th overall pick either. Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are this. Everyone felt like they have to help their defense. Now, he will help your defense in this sense. 10 to 12 plays will be eliminated as far as your defense have to play because they're going to keep the ball now. That's right. They got an excellent offensive line. That's right. It also helps Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant's smiling right now. If you're Dez, you're smiling. Because now, all of a sudden, you got to stack the box with 8 players. You got to stop the run because you got this running back there. He's going to get single coverage a lot. He likes that. Before, no running game, they roll the coverage.
But Darren McFadden ran for over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, but he's not this guy. Okay? He's not this guy.
All right. And the combination of Darren McFadden with Alfred Morris, he's still not this guy.
Well, yeah, this guy's special.
He's special. He's that special.
Well, he goes in for.
I watched him at Ohio State. I know he's special.
Yeah.
I know he's special on the collegiate level. But running in between those tackles on the NFL level, I'm not so sure, Coach.
He'll be all right. And he's got one of the best offensive line in football.
Okay.
And Dez Bryant takes some slack off him too, because you can't. You got to double Dez every once in a while when all of a sudden there's a light box for the kid. So it's a good pick. I mean, some of the other picks, it's you love the fact Jalen Smith, but
he's not ready this year. He's gonna play. He's gonna probably play.
Nico Gathers, the big tight end.
That's right.
Another guy.
Out of Baylor.
And he's 2 years away for me to think
Good
about
Lord.
football. Right?
Good Lord.
I mean,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
I got you.
Pick some players that if you hit, you go back 2 years from now, you'll say, wow, I mean, maybe one of the best drafts in football. But your defense still can't get to the quarterback.
That's right.
That's the problem.
And they didn't address their defense at all. So based on that reality, Redskins get Doxton. Okay. Out of TCU. They upgraded at the wide receiver, so I got a big receiver for a change.
They did.
That's athletic and go up the ball and get it, particularly in the red zone, like Jake Gruden pointed out.
Yeah.
You got the Giants who drafted Eli Apple.
Yeah.
I like Eli Apple. I know friends of mine are his parents, but I got to tell you, I'm kind of wondering whether or not they should have grabbed Tunsil. I mean, you need somebody to protect Eli Manning.
We were all shocked about that.
So where are we in the NFC East now?
Well, I think it's very competitive. I do. I think Eagles, if they got to get the quarterback situation, handle. But Washington, we know that the Giants are going to have a good offense. They did some things defensively, free agent wise. Vernon obviously, Damon Harrison. They get a good corner, Jenkins. They come back and get Apple now, another corner. They get a receiver. They get Shepard. He's a slot guy. They're going to have an offense. Now they built their defense. Giants are headed in the right direction. You're right. You thought maybe she get a tackle. They got a little nervous. With Tunsil. And the problem was he was there because the other kid was gone, Stanley. So, now they're sitting there and they didn't want Conklin, so they didn't get a tackle. You still got to protect Eli. But defensively, they're better. Offensively, they got some guys. Washington, better. All right? Dallas, offense is complete now. Romo's healthy. Dez Bryant's healthy. They got a runner. This division's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good division.
We're talking to Herm Edwards right here with Stephen A. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Let's transition to the AFC East real quick.
AFC East.
Patriots obviously didn't have a first rounder.
Nope.
Buffalo Bills grabbed Shaq Lawson. The reports are that he'll need shoulder surgery, although he's denying it. Miami's got Tunsil. The Jets obviously grabbed Hackenberg. Where are you right now on the AFC East? I mean, and we know it's all about New England because they have Tom Brady.
Yeah, still.
But at the same time, has anybody upgraded significantly enough based off of what you've seen in this draft?
I think all the teams. I think the Jets did a good job of drafting. The kid Darren Lee will help them defensively. Hackenberg's not going to play.
Right.
Jenkins, another kind of a player that can play in space. That's okay. Buffalo, Lawson, you just talked about. Reggie Ragland, tough guy inside. He's a thumper. That helps them. Miami, I thought Miami did some good. They had a good draft. They had a solid draft, Miami. They went out and signed a bunch of free agents as well. But you know what I know. Who's the best quarterback?
Tom Brady.
Even if he misses 4 games. Let's say he misses 4 games.
And I'm glad you went there. Does Tom Brady deserve to miss 4 games?
No.
Speak up, Coach. No, nothing. Penalty's too excessive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this thing, and I understand where they're coming from, but I just think the crime for what they supposedly happened, doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the 4-game suspension. I think it could have been handled. It was handled wrong from the beginning by both sides.
And I'm thinking, here's why I think Tom Brady somewhat deserves it.
Okay.
This is me, Coach.
Yeah, that's fine.
Herm Edwards is the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up the phone.
Oh,
Coach, hey, Commissioner, how you doing, sir? Hey, you know what? Why don't you grab your wife? Let me grab Giselle. We gonna go out to dinner. Let's have a conversation. I'm gonna look him in the face. I ain't have much to do with this. But I don't want this to make out to be. I understand your position. I understand the integrity of the game. You know, can I just take 2 games? Okay? You know, you got the $1 million fine. You got the confiscation of the 1st and the 4th round pick. All right? If 4 games is a bit extreme, et cetera, well, this is even before the 4 games.
Yes.
I'm going to have a conversation with you.
Should have gotten this.
I'm telling you, it shouldn't have got to this.
No.
All right? Mr. Commissioner, could you please, I'm telling you I'm innocent, but I understand how it looks.
Yes.
Could you cut me some slack? You're trying to tell me Roger Goodell doesn't give this man 2 games suspension to move on?
After
I'm talking about before. Oh, yeah, that's what I mean when I say I hold Tom Brady accountable. You're Tom Brady. It's the National Football League. You couldn't have worked your way around massaging the situation so you didn't force the commissioner's hand where it ain't even about you anymore. It's about the commissioner's power not being challenged in such a public way.
Well, the sad part about it, lawyers got involved on both sides.
That's right.
Where it should have been man on man saying, let's talk. That never took place. And I get it. Okay, I get all that other stuff, but there could have been. One thing the league does not want to do, you do not want to take your star players off the field. That's right. But the league has an obligation that, you know, even though, hey, life is, we treat everyone fair, we don't treat everyone the same, this became an issue. And when it got public, it was like, okay, they took sides. And now it's where it's at. And it's a shame. It really is.
Tunsil.
Tunsil, yes.
That story really bothered you.
It did.
I know it bothered me.
Yeah. Because it's not about the marijuana when we talked about. And you know that.
The floor's yours.
It's not. The floor's yours. It's really about after the fact of the people in your circle. First of all, I said this. If you're in a situation like that, why in the world would you even put it on camera? Why would you do that? I mean, you can feel sorry for the kid, but I don't feel sorry for that part of it. I'm like, why would you film something like that? You're about to be a professional football player, and you're going to film something like that knowing that, you know what, this could get out. Your buddies, whoever's in that room with you, they're going, yeah, let's have fun with it. They should be the ones that, hey, no, we ain't doing this. Hey, Larry, no, stop all this. Right. Okay, with that being said, that didn't happen. So now you sit in a situation, the people in your circle or the people that you associate with, they're trying to get in your pocket before you even get drafted. Now you get drafted. What does it take now, after you get drafted, to figure out who are the people in your circle? Because there's some people in there that shouldn't be in there. That's what the organization's going to have to deal with. It's not so much.
That's what I've been saying. To me, more so than football at this moment in time, we got to find out. Meaning Tunsil.
Yes.
We got to find out who leaked that video, and we got to make sure we get rid of them. Because, see, to me, the fact that it came out just minutes before the draft shows highly malicious intent.
No doubt.
And somehow, some way, he has got to find out who did this so he can make sure that they are eliminated from his life.
And you're saying the same thing I'm saying, Stephen A. And we're not condoning.
Not
it's okay to smoke marijuana.
Not at all.
This could be alcohol as well.
It could be anything.
This could be anything that you consume in your body
before the draft.
You can't do that.
This isn't childish where somebody just accidentally or irresponsibly released something. They did it with the intent to sabotage this kid's career. And I said this on Mike and Mike This Morning, Coach. I said, I'm from the streets of New York.
Yeah.
People die for less. $7 million you cost this guy? $7 million? People are dying on the streets for $700.
No doubt.
This dude lost $7 million.
Right.
You understand? Let me tell you something, man. They got to treat that seriously and make sure that they insulate him and eliminate all those bad apples.
Yeah, because he goes to Miami, and you know this.
Oh, yeah.
With money with money provides you access.
That's right.
All right? Also, money provides all of a sudden a new set of friends.
That's right.
Who are they? You
That's right.
choose them. Make sure they're in your best bet. And I'm not saying you have to have friends to say, well, you can smoke marijuana. I'm not saying that.
Not at all.
I'm just saying
Not in my-
your group will keep you away from going down the wrong road if you're not strong enough to do it on your own.
That's right.
That's what Miami has to deal with.
Yeah.
They got to make sure they insulate this guy.
Coach, always appreciate you, buddy, man.
My pleasure.
Keep it up, man. Great work as always. The one and only Herman was right here with Stephen A. Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. This coach is right. There's no other way to slice this. Somebody maliciously intended to cost this guy millions upon millions of dollars. I can't emphasize. Don't give me no black stuff. Black, white, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. People are dying in the streets for less than that. Dying. You cost the man $7 million on purpose. On purpose. Think about that for a second. On purpose, you cost him $7 million. This is not a joke. He got to find out who did that. He got to find out who did that. Coach is absolutely right. I know I'm right. He got to find out who did that to him. You can't let that slide. And I'm not saying do something to somebody. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating violence. I never do that. Unless somebody trying to harm your mama or your child. I ain't advocating something like that. But what you can't do is have the same people around your life. You got to find out who did this. Hour number 2 up next. Your phone calls and so much more. So stick around. It's Stephen A. It's Sirius XM. It's Mad Dog Sports Radio. Channel 82. Hour number 2 coming at you. If you missed for the Stephen A. Smith Show here with you until the top of the 3 o'clock hour when I pass it off to the namesake for the channel, Christopher Mad Dog Russo, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM. Mad Dog Sports Radio. Channel 82. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Got into the NBA playoffs and then transitioned to the NFL draft. Want to touch on a little. First of all, I want to give Miami props, the Miami Heat, for shellacking the Charlotte Hornets in Game 7 yesterday afternoon. Hassan Whiteside is no joke. D-Wade saved the season Friday night. Luol Deng is playing exceptional basketball. Goran Dragic showed up. Joe Johnson is silky smooth, but those rookies, Justice Winslow and Josh Richardson, have an impact defensively. I repeat, if Kevin Durant decided to go there, Lord have mercy. LeBron might never win the title. Between the East and the Western Conference, you just never know. So that's something to consider. Then you also got to take into account what we saw in Toronto against Indiana last night. I thought Indiana would win that game. I thought the best player on the court was Paul George, and Paul George would have some help. Unfortunately, he ran out of gas, and the Monte Ellises of the world and others didn't step up. And as a result, they weren't able to get it done. Still in all, I think about Miami getting ready to go up against Toronto. And the question that I have for the Toronto Raptors, and I'm proud and happy for my man Dwayne Casey, who I think does an exceptional job as a coach. I have to ask this question: what the hell are they going to do against Hassan Whiteside? Valanciunas? I mean, to me, you got to attack Whiteside and get him into foul trouble, because if you allow for Whiteside to be in the game, he's going to be blocking too many shots. He's going to completely swipe away the interior for Toronto's offense, and that's going to be problematic. Just worth pointing out. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. 888-623-3646. I didn't mention Portland and Golden State because I don't care. Because I think Portland should, and Golden State should win this series in 5 games at the most without Steph Curry. News about Steph Curry possibly sitting out Game 2 and then being ready for Game 3. What? Why rush back? For what? As far as I'm concerned, if I was Steph Curry, I'd be in the weight room during the day and be chilling by the ocean in the afternoon. I wouldn't, man, what are you worried about for? Mad respect for Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, but Portland doesn't have much help. They ain't beating Golden State in this series. Not more than 1 game. Even without Steph Curry. He wouldn't see the basketball court until the conference finals. I wouldn't waste a second putting them out there against them boys. Why bother? Doesn't make any sense to me. That's just what I think about it. Triple H Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. This 888-623-3646. Getting the boxing, Floyd Money Mayweather spoke to the folks, or spoke to the media yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry, Saturday night, about the possibility of him coming back out of retirement. Didn't say who he would fight, of course, but he hinted at a comeback. That's what he did. And Mayweather essentially said, I'm happy to be where I'm at. Everyone is asking me, is Floyd Mayweather coming back? Right now, I'm happy on this side. But I've been talking with CBS and Showtime, and you just never know. But for now, I'm happy on this side. If I came back, of course, it would have to be a 9-figure payday, and probably a championship fight in a 9-figure payday, he said. 9 figures. Over $100 million. That's what he would want. Which begs the question, what would it require? First of all, I don't think Pacquiao does it. I'd be more in favor of Canelo Alvarez. But that's only assuming if Canelo Alvarez knocked out Amir Khan in spectacular fashion, which I think would happen. I see a TKO at the very least coming, probably by the 5th or 6th round. And then I look at Triple G. Now let me say this. I'm going to say it again. All these smaller boys better stay the hell away from Triple G. That includes Money Mayweather. Stay the hell away from him. Stay the hell away from Triple G. I don't care about these so-called no-names. I'm thinking about how people fall. How they end up getting knocked out. That's what I'm looking. Do you know he dropped that kid, DeMarcus Wade, the other day with a shot to the arm? He dropped him with a shot to the arm. Look, man, there's certain people you just need to stay the hell away from. You remember when George Foreman knocked out Joe Frazier years ago? Many, many years ago. The late Joe Frazier, God rest his soul. Remember that? Do you remember that? He knocked out Joe Frazier. Remember when he knocked him upside the back of his head? And he fell down for a 7th time? This is back when boxing was really boxing. And you didn't get saved by standing 8 counts and 3 knockdown rules. This is back before those days. This is a little bit different. I mean, there's certain people, man, you just need to stay the hell away from them. And when I look at Triple G, that's what I think about. See, I have no doubt that Money Mayweather could quote-unquote outbox anybody. My problem is, what about once he gets hit? For a guy that walks around more than 170. What about then? Maybe 180. What about then? Mayweather's just too small. That's all I'm trying to say. And I simply don't want him caught up in that. And stay the hell away from Triple G. But Canelo Alvarez, a rematch with Money Mayweather? That's not a bad one right there. Canelo's a bad boy. And he's got the power. He just got outboxed by Mayweather. And he had to come down to like 152. Instead of Mayweather fighting for the junior middleweight crown at 154. Mayweather was only like 150 for that fight. I just look at it, man. It concerns me. I'm just saying. Triple H Mad Dog 6's number. Call up this 888-623-3646. Let's go to Patrick. He's held on long enough. From New Mexico, you're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. What's up, Patrick?
Hey, how you doing, Stephen A?
I'm good. Talk to me.
First time I got something to say. If anybody say anything about you negative, they get heater. You know what? Because you real, brother.
Thank you, bro. Go ahead, man.
Okay. The fight I want to see if Floyd come out and fight again is him and Keith Thurman. Because everybody said that Keith Thurman will get him a fight.
Yeah, but that's not a major payday fight.
Yeah, but I do not want to see or
let me tell you something about boxing that I do respect. Like it's the fight game, right? And one fight can end your career, and in rare cases can end your life. I do believe that when you've established yourself as a big time champion that the other folks need to go through some stuff before they get to you. Talk to me. Listen, I got mad respect for Keith Thurman. That brother's special. Talk to me when he fights David Garcia. Talk to me when he fights Errol Spence Jr. Talk to me when he fights Kell Brook. Talk to me about those fights. Then, and obviously he probably ain't going to get to fight Mayweather because Mayweather's older now. And he's retired. These young lions, he don't need to be going in there with them. When he was younger, he fought the Diego Corraleses of the world, and the Castillos of the world, and the Castros of the world, and others. It's their turn now. Let them fight each other. I wouldn't fight those. If I'm Money Mayweather, I'm fighting, and I think I could get a 9-figure payday or a high 8-figure payday. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, but please stay here. Do
not get in the ring with Triple G. I got you muffled, bro, so I got to cut you off. But you're right. He don't need to be getting in the ring with Triple G. He's too small. Paul in New York, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, Paul?
Stephen A., how are you?
I'm great. Talk to me.
When I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago, I told you that's why we'll be back in September. And you'll be back to fight Danny. He's going to fight Danny Garcia.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Danny Garcia's not a 9-figure fight.
But Stephen A., the network will pay him the money. It doesn't matter who you
They're going to pay him 9 figures. They're not going. I'm telling you, they're not going to pay 9 figures for Garcia. Trust me, I'm in the network business. I'm telling you, they're not going to pay 9 figures for Danny Garcia. They're not going to do it.
The only person who will get 9 figures from them, if that's the case, is against money, right?
Hold on. Canelo's got a chance.
He already beat Canelo.
I know they beat Manny Pacquiao too.
I understand, but Canelo, he's gonna fight at one.
Let me ask you a question right now, Paul. Who looks more spectacular, Canelo or Pacquiao?
Canelo.
Right now, thank you.
Canelo.
Thank you. He looks more spectacular than Pacquiao now.
But Canelo will not fight 1 ounce below 155. He won't. And Floyd is not going to fight him at 155. No.
I agree with that. I agree with your second part. You trying to tell me that Canelo Alvarez will turn down a $100 million payday because he don't want to lose 3 to 4 pounds?
Even in boxing, that 3 pounds is hell.
No. I'm not saying, I know boxing. I'm not saying it's not hell. I'm saying you're trying to tell me that Canelo, having had the experience of going up against Floyd at 152, wouldn't accept a 9-figure payday because he got to lose 3 additional pounds?
If he's getting there, you'll do that.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Don't tell me he won't do it. I know he will.
As far as Triple G, that will never happen. Floyd's not crazy.
That's right. He needs to educate these people, man. These people keep thinking I'm crazy. Oh, Floyd, you get in the ring with Triple G. You better stay away from that man.
No.
You better stay away from Triple G.
Triple G has special power.
And by the way, Canelo needs to stay away from him.
Oh, he'll kill Canelo.
Canelo needs to stay away from him.
Like you said, the small guys. There's nobody. The only one guy.
Andre Ward.
But as far as that 160, if he makes Daniel Jacobs hit him like that, he's gonna have a problem. That's the only guy who could probably hurt him. He'll still beat him, but Daniel Jacobs will hurt him if he stands up there.
I haven't seen much of Daniel Jacobs, Paul. I gotta watch him.
Excellent guy, but he can't take his power. He can't take Triple G's power.
Oh, then it's a wrap. Because you're gonna feel Triple G's power for the first round. It's a wrap right there.
But Daniel Jacobs is very dangerous in round 1. And Triple G stands up here with him.
Okay.
Allows him to tee off on him. Like he did these other guys.
Okay.
I have a problem.
I'll keep a watch on that. Thanks a lot, Paul. Appreciate you. Carlton in Massachusetts, you're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. Why did I know I would hear from you, Carlton, the second I brought up Ryan Fitzpatrick? Why did I know this?
Oh, yeah, you did that Jets segment today, and then Herm Edwards was just talking about the Jets and Fitzpatrick, so you knew you were going to hear from him.
How you doing, buddy?
Something, Stephen, though, in watching what's transpired the last couple of months, I honestly believe that Maccagnan has really this year screwed up the Jets and their cap situation. Last year, I thought he did a brilliant job. This year, since day one of the 2016 NFL year, which was March 9th, the first day of free agency, the Jets have had exactly zero cap space to sign a quarterback. The percentage of their payroll that they're devoting to quarterback is the lowest by far in the NFL. Even counting the Hackenberg signing, the Jets' total cap hit.
But Carlton, what does that mean to you? What it means to me is that they don't believe in any of them.
No, they don't. They can't do any of them. It's not they don't believe in them. They literally have boxed themselves into a bad cap situation, and it was largely because you know the average NFL team's cap went up $12 million this year. Every year, because of the TV revenues, they increase the cap. The Jets, because of the peculiarities of the cap, the Jets' total cap went up $1.4 million this year. So they didn't get any relief from that normal growth in cap. And again, I can explain it to you, but the particulars are not important. So their overall cap didn't go up. Will Pearson's cap hit went from $7 million to $15.7 million this year. Almost a $9 million jump in cap just to him. That's why they've been talking about maybe trading him or getting rid of him. Buster Skrine's cap hit went up $5 million this year on his. So just those two guys alone, drove the cap hit sky high. They paid Fitzpatrick $3.25 million last year, and he obviously wanted a lot more. They don't have the room to do this. That's why they had to say goodbye to Damon Harrison, who ended up on the Jets. That snack. They've been putting up this smoke screen for the last couple of months that, Fitzpatrick wants too much and so forth. They don't have 25 cents to sign anybody now. I mean, they really don't. They actually have to get rid of some more cap before the start of the season to sign the rookies. And
well, I'm just looking at some of the numbers right now. Darrelle Revis is going to count like $17 million.
Yeah, which is only up one versus last year.
That's right.
An incremental one.
But
you're right.
The Brickenshaw-Ferguson $14.1 million comes off the books. I mean,
but see, he only counted a little over 10 last year. You're right. It was supposed to be 14, but between Clady, who they signed a replacement, he has a $6 million cap hit, and they've got to carry a $5 million dead cap hit for Wilkinson retired. So actually, that left tackle's cap hit actually went up this year, believe it or not. Even though Ferguson is gone, the cap hit for that left tackle is higher than it was last year.
You know what's making me sick? I'm looking at it. Brandon Marshall, $9.5 million. Nick Mangold, $8.6 million. Eric Decker, $8 million. Cromartie, $8 million. Buster Skrine, $7.75 million. David Harris, $7.5 million. Marcus Gilchrist, $5.6 million. James Carpenter, $5.6 million. 6 of the 10 will be 31 or older. This is stuff that I was reading from earlier, just a few weeks ago.
That's another issue. They got, especially with, Mangold and Giacomini on the line, they're getting up there in age, as well as Revis, obviously, at cornerback. And Marshall, although Marshall had, maybe his best year ever last year, one of his best years ever, so I'm not worried about his age. But you're right, they're aging. But in addition, Maccagnan has mucked up this darn cap this year in a big bad way. They have no money to sign Fitzpatrick, and they're kicking out this giant smoke screen about him wanting too much and about that final game last year, which you correctly pointed out on first take. He didn't play nearly as bad as everybody wants to blame him for in that game. But they can't sign him. I actually think there's a higher chance that he winds up with the Denver Broncos this year. The Broncos have a little bit of cap space, not much, and I don't think they want to go into the year.
So let me interject and say this here. So basically what you're telling me is they only have a little bit of money themselves. The difference is they're a better situation than the Jets. So if you got to settle for less, why settle for less from the Jets when you can settle for less from the reigning defending Super Bowl champions?
Well, I think they got at least $7 million more than the Jets have, and the Jets have none. Okay, and if you move some things around or release one or two more players, I think they could actually afford to pay Fitzpatrick $10 million this year. And I don't think you want the new guy with the Memphis guy. I'm drawing a blank here all of a sudden. Learning.
Okay.
Learning under Sanchez, and your whole season.
Paxton Lynch. You talk about Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, Paxton Lynch. I don't think you want Paxton Lynch learning under Sanchez, and your whole season, and you're the reigning Super Bowl champions, relying on Mark Sanchez. I just cannot fathom that John Elway is going to do that. So But anyway, this Jets thing is a giant smoke screen. It really is, and it's
I'll keep eyes on it. I'll keep eyes on it. See what happens with it. Plus, we got you. You'll call in. I know this much. All right, buddy.
Bye now.
Take it easy. Carlton in Massachusetts. Always appreciate his knowledge. Man knows what he's talking about. I give him credit for that. 888-MAD-6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Everyday task you do on your phone put your identity at risk. Smartphone users like the convenience of online banking and shopping. So do identity thieves. Criminals enjoy stealing card numbers, but the personal info behind the card is more valuable. Identity theft is America's fastest growing crime. Thieves use your personal information to pretend they're you. They can buy things on your credit, liquidate bank accounts, or get your retirement funds. LifeLock scans millions of transactions each second. If they detect your information, they send you an alert. If you have a problem, a U.S.-based agent will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions and all businesses, of course. But LifeLock is the best identity theft protection available. Memberships start at $9.99 per month, plus applicable taxes. Go to LifeLock.com or call 800-520-9095. Use promo code Stephen A. At Stephen A for 10% off your LifeLock Ultimate Plus membership. Call 800-520-9095. That's 800-520-9095. Your calls and more in a minute with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. The Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius 6M, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Let's get back to the phones at 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. Talk about the NFL draft. Talk about the NBA playoffs. Talk about the possibility of Floyd Money Mayweather coming back out of retirement for a 9-figure payday, and who indeed he should go against, if anyone at all. Let's go to Tom in Virginia. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Tommy?
Hey, Steve.
What's up? Go ahead, man.
I'm not.
Call back, man. Your signal's bad, Tom. Let's go to Bilal in Harlem. You're live with Stephen A. Amanda. What's up, Bilal?
Hey, Bilal, Steven, how you doing, man?
What's up, man? Go ahead, man.
Listen, if memory serves me right, when Floyd first was going to fight Canelo in the past, you said that he should stay away from Canelo, and I called in and I spoke to you. I said, listen, this is going to be an easy fight.
That's not true. That's not true. First of all, no. You don't get to misquote me. I never said he should stay away from Canelo as if not fight him. I said when you get in the ring with that man, stay away from him. Don't try to sit up there and get in his face and act like you can sit there and fight him like you fought Miguel Cotto back a few years ago when Roger was training you and your father had to step in after that because he felt that you took too many hits. I said Canelo is no joke. You can't play around with that boy. That's what I said. I'm telling him not to step in the ring with Triple G. To avoid him like the plague.
But I think you give Canelo too much props. The man runs out of gas. He's not that skilled of a fighter. And he's scared to death of Triple G. It's going to be an easy fight if Floyd fights him again. No one wants to say
I'm not saying that. That's not the debate. The debate is what's the more interesting fight? What's the better possibility at 9 figures? Canelo or Pacquiao? That's the question.
I really don't think either one of them for 9 figures. Because Pacquiao is boring. He outboxed him. And Canelo is not really a draw.
First of all, turn down your radio in the background so I don't hear that when I'm asking you a question. Okay? Secondly, who is a 9-figure fight?
It would only be Triple G, but he's not going to fight Triple G.
You better stay away from Triple G, man. You better stay away from
Triple G. Triple G better worry about staying away from Andre Ward.
No, he is staying away from Andre Ward. Andre Ward is moving up to fight Kovalev. That's the best thing that happened to Triple G. Because if Andre Ward had stayed put at 168 and wasn't thinking about the light heavyweight crown, then everybody would be pressuring Triple G to fight him. But because he's moving up to fight Kovalev, Triple G is actually getting a break on that one.
Absolutely.
Bilal, I got to run, man. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Let's go to Mike in Texas. You're live with Stephen A. Amanda. What's up, Mike?
Not too much, Stephen A. But I was listening to you, and you're talking about how you should blame Tunzel and his friend group for putting that video on Twitter. But you also have to blame the institution. You have to blame Ole Miss because you're saying his friends are trying to get in his pockets. Where is he getting that money to buy all that weed? And that gas.
Are you really gonna call up here and sound that damn ignorant? You think it's hard to get weed? Broke people get their hands on weed.
And where's that gas mask come from? You know how much that thing costs?
Really? Goodbye, man. I have no time for your idiocy. Let's go to Jonathan in Long Island. You're live with Stephen A. and Mad Dog. What's up, Jonathan?
How you doing, Stephen? This is the second time I'm calling now.
Go ahead.
It's actually in regards to two things. Touch on the boxing thing with Mayweather and Fitzpatrick.
Go ahead.
I'm a Jets fan, and personally, I'm not too big on Fitzpatrick. I don't think he's the answer. I know he did good, but I think it's Marshall and Decker were the ones who people weren't putting enough energy on. I think Bryce Petty or who we just picked up could do the same exact thing. Even Geno Smith, and I'm not a fan of Geno
Smith. He do the same job as Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Well, look at it's Brandon Marshall, you have to give credit to Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker. Geno didn't have all of them, and now they have Forte.
So what does that have to do with Fitzpatrick or the quarterback?
I'm saying in the sense of how good they did last year. I don't want to put so much credit on Fitzpatrick. Everybody's saying, like, put emphasis on Fitzpatrick, then you need to get him back.
Well, let me tell you why you're wrong. Let me tell you why you're wrong. Because before him, the Jets were struggling in recent years because of quarterback play. So the fact that they had a quarterback that actually played halfway decent propelled them to elevated heights. Now, that's not to take away from the job an Ivy or Bilal Powell or Brandon Marshall with Decker and the crew did. But it is to point out that the quarterback is the most important position on the football field for a reason. And Ryan Fitzpatrick's contribution can't be ignored. Take it easy, man. Let's go to Kevin in New Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. and Mad Dog. What's up, Kev?
What's going on, Stephen? I want to talk a little bit of boxing. I heard you on First Take today talking about, Triple G versus Floyd, and that he should stay away from him. And number one, I really wish you'd clam up about that because I'm afraid he's going to listen to you and stay away. And the second thing is, I think you're 100% wrong. The one thing that Triple G I love, by the way, from a fundamental standpoint, you have not seen a boxer be that fundamentally sound in a long time. But if you watch the guys he's fighting, they're all terrible. And second of all, they're all right there in front of him. Floyd will never be in front of him. And the other thing is, I feel like you're taking money out of my pocket because the one thing that you can bet on every time is that Floyd is going to win. Because
well, first of all, about the fact that taking money out of your pocket, I don't give a damn. I'm not here to get you paid. That's number one. Number two, let's say this. Let me ask you this question, Kevin, and I want you to be honest with me. You lie to me, I'm going to hang up on you. When you sit up there and you watch a fight, are you interested in a fight where you absolutely positively know that under no circumstances can the smaller guy hurt the guy he's fighting?
No, that's not interesting.
That's my point. But see what I'm saying? Because that's my problem. See, even though Floyd is smaller than Canelo, you get the feeling that Floyd could possibly hurt him if he catch him right. You knew that Floyd could, after seeing Manny Pacquiao get put to sleep, you knew that Floyd could hurt Pacquiao after what Juan Manuel Marquez did to him. The problem that I have with him stepping in the ring with Triple G, I'm essentially watching it for 12 rounds to see if Triple G can catch him because Floyd can't hurt him. He's just too small.
Hurting him and winning are two different things.
Well, I do understand. You're right about that. I'm not disputing that. I'm talking about in terms of interest in the fight.
Well, I get what you're saying. The Manny Pacquiao fight was one of the most boring fights you're going to watch.
I agree with that, but you have to understand that I walked into the fight believing that Floyd could potentially catch him the way Juan Manuel caught him. So I'm thinking along those lines. There's nothing that has me believing. If Floyd fights Triple G, the only thing I'm asking is, here's the only suspense. Can Floyd run for 12 rounds without getting caught?
But that's it. Different notion. He doesn't run. Because if you think about it, in order to punch a man, he's in range also. The difference with Floyd is he's so much faster.
Once again, you're a typical fan that's hard-headed. Did I say Floyd runs? I said he would run against Triple G because he's too big and powerful. He didn't have to run against the others. He would run against Triple G. You gonna stand in front of Triple G?
Personally, hell no. But I'm not Floyd Mayweather.
No, I'm talking about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, as small as he is, you think he's gonna stand in front of Triple G?
I don't think he'll stand in front, but look what he did with Canelo. He didn't run out of range. He wasn't running all the time with Canelo either. He outboxed him. He was within range for 80%.
But he also stymied Canelo because he hit him and it stung enough where Canelo had to guard himself, and then he got to a point where he got scared of throwing punches because when he missed, Floyd would hit him and it didn't tickle. So what I'm saying to you is that that's entirely different against Triple G.
No, listen, Triple G from a fundamental standpoint is beautiful to watch. His footwork, his feet are never out of place, but he does not have the raw speed to catch me. There's one guy in boxing.
I totally agree. If Triple G threw 150 shots at Floyd Money Mayweather, he'd be lucky to hit him with 10. The problem is with Triple G against a smaller opponent, all it takes is one. And it can be to the body. It doesn't even have to be to the head. That's my problem.
One guy that has a chance of beating Floyd right now, and that's Terrence Crawford. But I don't want to see that fight.
Terrence Crawford? I like Terrence Crawford a lot. I think he's too small. Terrence Crawford needs to fight somebody like Errol Spence before he thinks about Floyd.
Listen, Terrence Crawford could easily put on another 10 pounds and not have an ounce of fat on him. Sit up there with Floyd, and he has...
No. Floyd, I'm going to cut off this conversation right now if you keep jumping off subject. Because I hate how you're trying to make this conversation. You sound like you know boxing well enough. Who's the hell saying that? You don't jump up 10 pounds and fight somebody. What the hell is jumping up 10 pounds and not having an ounce of fat on you have to do with anything? It's just like a guy that loses 3 pounds. I just had somebody call me up here and speculate as to whether or not Canelo would drop 3 pounds to collect 9 figures. So, yeah, you don't have to look fat. They don't have anything to do with anything. And you know that, Kevin.
Worried about, listen, I fought myself for 6 years. I get going up and down in the weight classes. It's not that much of an issue that people bring this up. And my thought was...
Oh, wait a minute. Other professional fighters religiously bring this up as an issue. Were you a professional fighter?
No, sir. Not
all right, then it don't count. They're telling you it's a difference. Doesn't their opinion matter?
Does what matter?
Their opinion as a fighter who's in the profession. Yeah. Does it not matter? Well, they tell you it's a big difference.
No, they're telling you a big difference when Canelo wants to stick at 155. But for guys like Terrence Crawford with his frame, he can easily go up another weight class. It's not going to be an issue for him.
There's plenty of fighters that refute that. They swear that's not the case. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm saying it's their call because they're the ones in the profession. And religiously, they claim that's the case.
Crawford puts on 10 pounds to fight football.
All right, man. Have a nice day, Kevin. 888 Mad Dog 6 number call is 888-623-3646. I can only help with so much. I really can only help with so much. I sat up there and I said, fighters say this. I don't know. I'm not them, but that's what they say. And here you are. You know, they can do it. Like you in the ring getting punched in the head. 888 Mad Dog 6 number call is 888-623-3646. More of your phone calls in a minute with Stephen A. I'm Mad Dog. Man, and congratulations to Luke Walton, new head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers. Developmental coach with the LA Defenders of the NBA Developmental League. Prior to that, assistant coach at the University of Memphis during the lockout year, 2011. Aside from that, been an assistant coach on his Warriors bench because after all, he went at Arizona where he was a second team All-American. And of course, Steve Kerr went to school there. Pays to have friends in high places. Had the job this year when Steve Kerr was down with his spinal leakage injury. And he got them to 24 straight wins, 24-0, and a 39-4 record overall before Steve Kerr came back. So, you don't want to hear anybody complaining. There's few coaches throughout NBA history that got head coaching jobs, even though they were never assistants anywhere. They were usually stars, but that's beside the point. In the end, Luke Walton deserved the opportunity. I wish him nothing but the best. I think he's going to need all the luck he can get, but not because of his ability. I believe in him. Who I don't believe in is Jim Buss, who needs to go. That's all I want to say about that for now. From in New Jersey, you're live with Stephen A. Amanda, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm good. Talk to me.
I want to talk about two things. First of all, I had a question. I didn't figure this out. Why doesn't an NBA coach, for example, Steve Kerr, or Brad Stevens, or Greg Popovich, the good coaches, why can't they demand $10, $15 million a year? Because they are worth $10, $15 million a year. Steve Kerr is worth $10 million a year. He won a championship for the Warriors. They were not that good of a team before he came. They only took it to another level.
Well, Steve Kerr was proving that he's not worth $10 to $15 million a year when you consider the fact that Luke Walton, an assistant, came in and actually had a better winning percentage than him. That's number one. Number two, you're worth what the market allows. And when you look at coaches and what they're getting paid, you have to find an owner that's going to give that to you. And if the owners are not going to give it to you elsewhere, you ain't going to get it from the owner you have.
$50 million a year. He was running Steve Kerr's system. Luke Walton was running Steve Kerr's system.
What did I just say? I just said to you, somebody has to be willing to give it to you. With players, there's always somebody that's willing to give them the money they covet, which is why it's easier for them to go out and maximize their market value. With a coach, you ain't seeing coaches getting paid 10, 12, 15 million a year. Take it easy. Have a nice day. Let's go to Paul in Atlanta. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Paul?
Stephen A., how you doing, man?
I'm all right. Go ahead, man.
I want to say something that I don't think a lot of people going to agree with what I'm about to say. I think that the whole situation for Mayweather to get the 9 figures he wants is not even going to be based. He can't do Triple G. We know that. There's nothing he can do at this age and this time in his life. But everything is going to be based off of hype and drama. And I truthfully believe that if they stir the pot good enough with this AB thing, that they can get 9 for at least Mayweather.
Adrian Broner?
That's right.
No.
If you stir it up.
Nope. Nope.
You know we love drama.
I know that.
You know we love drama.
I know that, but you know why, right? You know why I ain't gonna get to 9 figures, right?
Come on.
Because Adrian Broner. See, you gotta have, just like you gotta have a villain, you gotta have a hero. Who would be the hero? Mayweather is the pariah. Mayweather is the folks that people can't stand are paying millions upon millions of dollars to see get knocked out.
Exactly.
But nobody wants to see Broner replace him.
But we hate Broner even more.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter. You gotta have somebody that folks will root for. You gotta have. Listen, there's a reason why there's villains and there's heroes.
I feel you.
There's no hero. That's why.
Man.
That's the problem.
I will pay for that though.
That's the problem. You know, I'd pay for it too, but not enough to get Mayweather 9 figures. Would I pay 49? Yeah. Would you pay 99? Would you pay 103? No, you wouldn't.
It all depends on how you stir it up.
You know why you wouldn't pay? You know why you wouldn't pay for it?
We might get it.
Listen, man. Look, Paul, I don't like liars on my show, bro. You know good and damn well you'll go over your boy's house to watch the fight. You ain't paying for it. You ain't paying for it. You ain't paying for it. Or you get somebody to come to your house and pay you. One or the other. You ain't gonna just pay for it. Stop.
But it's gonna be a fight party, and it is gonna sell.
I'm just saying, it's gonna sell because you might charge somebody less when you can offset the money you paid for it. But you ain't gonna legitimately pay for X, Y, and Z. You're not gonna do that.
ABD 3 really, really good fights right now.
Yo, that's right. That's right.
Right now to get that bumped up. You let me see AB beat the real solid names out there.
Well, look at what you just said. You calling up to make a case for AB, but acknowledging he needs to win 2 or 3 good fights before you can sell it?
He do, but that's a negotiation.
Paul, I listen to you. It don't make no sense. Adrian Broner ain't worth that yet. Period. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Mitch in South Carolina. You're live with Stephen A. Amanda. What's up, Mitch?
How are you doing, Mitch? Yeah.
I'm good. Talk to me.
First off, I want to say how much I respect your work and how I love watching you first take.
Thank you.
And secondly, I just want to kind of sort of add another point to
Just go ahead, man. You spent 30 seconds, man. Go ahead, make your point, bro. I don't want to cut you off, but you're taking too long. Go ahead.
Okay. Larry Johnson not only lost $7 million in the draft, he lost potential endorsement.
Yeah, but offensive linemen ain't known for getting too many of those. But go ahead.
But I mean, local endorsements in Miami and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
He lost
that's
at least
more money.
they said at least $7 million, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a good day.
Thank you, man. Let's go to Leo in New York. You're live with Stephen A. Leo, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon.
How you doing?
I was called by Luke. I mean, I'm happy that he got the job, but you have qualified assistant coaches like Patrick Ewing and Mo Cheeks that has been waiting for their opportunities. When are those
Stop right there. Mo Cheeks has been the head coach in Portland and Detroit. Those were 2 opportunities. Can't say that. Go ahead and make your point.
So what about Patrick Ewing?
Patrick Ewing has never had the opportunity as of yet.
Right, but don't you think he deserves a shot?
Did you think he deserved a shot when Mark Jackson got the job and never once was an assistant? Well, how about Doc Rivers, who never once was assistant before he got the job?
Right, I understand, but I mean, the fact is, they're giving kids that really hasn't proven themselves, okay, opportunity like this when you have good assistant coaches that are out there.
Well, I'm saying to you, that's always the case. There's always more qualified candidates that have been around longer and deserved an opportunity. That's always the case. And there's always people who get shortchanged. That's a part of life. It's part of the business. Appreciate the call. 888 Mad Dog 6 is going to call up. 888-623-3646. Your phone calls to close out the show in a minute before I pass it off to the namesake for the channel, Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Up next, right here on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 82. We're back here to Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Just got a few minutes left, so I'm going to keep the phone calls real quick before I get on out of here. Make your points quick, succinct, and to the point so I can pass it off to Mad Dog Russo with his afternoon drive show coming up next at the top of the 3 o'clock hour. Let's go to Ray in Puerto Rico. You're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. Ray, what's up?
Hey, thank you for taking my call, Stephen. Hey, 3 yes or no questions real quick.
Hurry up.
Do you think the Jaguars could have done better on the draft? Are you surprised about the Spurs and the Oklahoma Thunder's score? And are you going to cry on your last show, First Take with Skip?
Yes, no, and hell no. I don't cry over men. Period. Appreciate the call. Will in Mexico, you're live with Stephen A. Mad Dog. What's up?
Yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you, Mr. Smith. Yes, I just want to ask you, what do you seriously think about the Cowboys draft pick? I'm a Cowboys fan, lifelong, born and bred, and I know you be dogging on my boys. But what do you actually think about that draft pick?
I thought Ezekiel Elliott was a really good pick. I thought it shores up their offense. I love the fact Jalen Smith ended up there, even though he can't play next year. But I think they've ignored their defense. So I give them a grade in the B range. But I think ignoring their defense is going to come back to haunt them at the most inopportune time.
Yes, defense does win championships. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Take it easy. Let's go to Danielle. Daniel in Houston, you're live with Stephen A. Mad Dog. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Stephen A? Hey, what do you think about Durant's options in free agency and going to Miami? But how do you think that would fit with the East if he goes to Miami?
I think if Kevin Durant ends up going to Miami, with them being as presently constructed, I think Miami's the favorites immediately in the Eastern Conference.
Even with LeBron still
Even with LeBron, if Kevin Durant goes to the Miami Heat as presently constructed, they instantly become the favorites. Let's go to Ronnie in Brooklyn. You're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. What's up, Ronnie?
Stephen, I want you to give it to me straight. I've been in Cleveland my whole life, and whoever's going to be the Warriors or the Spurs, do you think Cleveland has the heart to win the championship this year, barring any injury? I'm going to hang up and let you tell me what it is, Stephen.
I think Cleveland has the capability to win the championship this year. I think the way they look and the way that they have been playing, I definitely believe that they got a chance. Golden State has to be completely healthy. They cannot beat. I don't believe they would beat the Cleveland Cavaliers unless Steph Curry is 100%. That's what I believe. That's me. But at the same time, San Antonio can also beat Cleveland. Make no mistake about it. You need to be able. The Cleveland Cavaliers have to be 100% And on top of it all, Kevin Love has to be ready to play. Otherwise, you're not beating San Antonio and you're not beating Golden State. The big three has to play big. DJ in North Carolina, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, Stephen A? Good afternoon. I was asking about how you feel about Dallas draft this year, and I know you're not really a Dallas fan, but how you feel about Ezekiel Elliott, and does that get us over the 8-8 hump?
You gotta show that you're listening to the show. I said I like the deal. I like the move for Ezekiel Elliott, but you ignored your defense. I do believe it gets you to at least 2-8-8, probably better because your offense is going to be high powered, but it's still not going to deliver you a championship. Let's go to Carlos in Maryland. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Carlos?
Hey, I'm gonna get straight to the point. Why aren't they giving my brother Mark Jackson any credit for Golden State? I feel like Steve Kerr just came in and just took the trophy, and Mark Jackson started it.
Well, Mark Jackson definitely started it, and we all know he deserves credit for it. The problem with it is that he was fired. That Joe Lacob and Warriors ownership wanted to go in a different direction, and the second they made that move, Steve Kerr won the championship. That's why. Jason in New Jersey, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick, Jason, you got 30 seconds.
Hey, how you doing? Just kind of want to talk about the Giants draft.
You got 20 seconds. Go ahead.
I was a little surprised everyone's kind of disappointed. I'm just wondering what you thought about the Giants draft.
Listen, Eli Apple is a good pick. He can play. My problem with Eli Apple is that Laramie Tunsil is the guy. You desperately needed an offensive lineman to protect Eli Manning and to facilitate a better running game. And the fact is you don't have that. That's the problem. Nice that they got another wide receiver, Victor Cruz and Odell Beckham Jr. Let's see what they do. And then Eli Apple, you got a corner. But you really needed some muscle up front. Got to win at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Mad Dog Russo's up next. I'll holler at you 22 hours from now. Peace and love, everybody.